Welcome to the Verdin Verdict Sports Show. I'm your host, Jacob Verdin. I hope everybody had a good week. College football right around the corner. Good little matchup, LSU versus Arkansas. A lot of people are worried. SEC showdown, Tigers go on the road. First time in a while. I get it. The nerves are there, rightfully so. Fresh off of the heels of a very big win. We'll bring you that preview. We'll bring you the keys, our prediction. We got our top 3 game segment rolling back around like we never left. Texas versus Georgia. Alabama versus Tennessee, Michigan versus Illinois. Pretty good slate. You got some good SEC games here. We didn't want to throw LSU and Arkansas in there at the number 3 spot for the top 3 games. I felt like I'd be robbing y'all a prediction. We got to predict the LSU games anyway. We might as well add an extra game. Make it interesting. Just keep on, adding layers to this. A couple of notes from Brian Kelly. Not going to change much for the matchup. It's kind of the usuals. We predicted it on Wednesday, and it's not like this is a hard prediction, but Chris Hilton out. C.J. Daniels probable. He'll more tthan likely play. That's what the odds are looking like. Trudez Green going to be moving around. He's going to be in the slot wide receiver position. Now, can you imagine a 6'7" target at that spot? Going to be very, very interesting to see what Joe Sloan and company have drawn up for Trudez this weekend. And as far as LSU and Arkansas, 6 o'clock kickoff. LSU's a 2.5-point favorite, minus 135 on the money line. So it's a close game. It's a pick 'em. They're pretty much saying flip a coin. We don't know how it'll go. I think I do. I think I know. I think I got confidence. The total is at 56.5. Didn't want to leave that one out. It's a little outrageous. When LSU plays football, for some reason, Vegas just errs on the side of caution. They're like, oh, man, yeah, LSU can score 30, 40 points, and rightfully so. We can. But, a 56-point total in this game is a little interesting because Arkansas, their offensive production, as we talked about on Wednesday, it's lacking. They're mainly a ground team, ground focus, running game, running strong, passing game's kind of weak. I'm not trying to, insult them or make Arkansas seem a lot inferior or more inferior, for lack of a better word, but I think that's the case. I think Arkansas's quarterback situation, he's a real mobile guy. I'm feeling confident in our defense. I'm feeling confident in our ability to create some pressure and put some stops together. 19 sacks for LSU in the last 4 games. Braden Swenson, 7 sacks on the year. That's number 2 in the SEC. Shout out Big 4. He's got 2 sacks and 8 tackles last game versus Ole Miss. How about Whit Weeks, leading SEC in tackles? 59 tackles last week, career high 18 against Ole Miss. A couple other stats for the offensive side of the ball. Kyron Lacey, SEC leader in touchdowns. And he has back-to-back 100-yard gains. Garrett Nussmeier leads SEC in passing touchdowns. Number 2 in passing yards. 6-1 record as a starter. And he has 3 fourth-quarter comebacks. Shout out Mike Barnett for that last little specialized stat. Mike Barnett, LSU stat king, like we always call him. Got to give him the title. Got to give him it. I think LSU's got a little bit of a edge, if you will. They've got the bigger, roster, if you will, in terms of like the names, the star power, the athlete. They can out-athlete you, right? And when you got that, you've got the puncher's chance. You've got the infamous leg up, if you will. You got the better quarterback, so then there's that side of it. You could probably do a little more in your pass game and your run game. I mean, I feel like Arkansas's kind of just pushed to doing one thing. They can maybe come out and razzle-dazzle you, stop you for a little bit, maybe, in terms of them producing some explosive offensive plays, catch you lacking at times. But I just don't think through 4 quarters they're going to be the better team. Can LSU get caught lacking? Of course, and I think any defense for that matter can. It's going to be an interesting lineup, though. I think LSU could probably – we got a couple keys for them. Let's just jump right into it. First things first, the offense needs to capitalize on the early drive, straight up. If they can do that, if they can show up, the offense can get into their grooves, I think they can put this one away. I mean, to start the Ole Miss game, defense gave you 2 stops back-to-back. Of course, they missed a field goal on one. You get the 4th down stop on the next drive. You could have already been up 14-0. Or let's be modest, you could be up at least 10-0. In this Arkansas game, especially on the road, you got to come out swinging. Every chance you get, please nail it home. Offense has to capitalize. That's number 1 key. And that's going to be mainly the key going forward. That's kind of been the thing we've been harping on all season. Starting fast. Not, waiting until the second half to actually string some things together and you're down 2-3 possessions. It's going to be kind of the same for this weekend. You're going to have to hurry up and get it out. I think Arkansas's main thing is they're going to try to keep the ball on their side of the field and give LSU as little opportunity as possible to make some magic happen. So when you get it, you got to treat it like it's sacred, because it almost will be. Second key, defense needs to stay in the game for all 4 quarters. They're going to have to not fizzle out. They're going to have to be conditioned. They're going to be facing a heavy run team. I have to emphasize it once again. Wednesday, we broke it down. We told y'all they've scored 25 touchdowns on the season, 20 of them on the ground, only 5 touchdowns on the ground. Their quarterback, who threw the 5, has ran for 4 touchdowns. So he's almost scored more on the ground than he has through the air. You know where their focus is. You know where their eyes are. And if you're a linebacker, a D tackle, or just anybody on this defensive team for LSU, you know that you're in for a little bit of a fight, a little bit of a test. You got to be willing to leave it all out there for the 4 quarters. I mean, you can't just come out here, have a good first half or have a good second half. You got to have 2 nice halves, and like BK always says, play that complementary football. Make sure that offense is, getting time to kind of breathe, and same thing for the defense. The offense is going to actually have to string some stuff together and let the defense rest. Don't turn the ball over and give it right back to the defense to stop. Going to have to go in here and play like a playoff caliber team, quite frankly, because now this is when the fire's turned up. This is when the primetime spot's in. Next week you're going to be playing Texas A&M, when this could shape out to be, they're playing Miss State, we're playing Arkansas. If we both win, we're undefeated in the SEC, both of us. You're on the road. It could be a top 10 matchup. I mean, this is when the lights really start shining. Everything's going to get brighter, and you're going to have to start performing. So you're going to have to hit this Arkansas game red hot. I think you're just going to have to flash. I'm expecting it, honestly. I think LSU could really string together, quite frankly, their best game yet. Third key, you got to walk in. Like I just said, this game controls your season. You can't be riding a high, being like, oh, we just upset Ole Miss. We don't really got to be motivated. We're the team. We're LSU. We're good. We're number 8. No, that's going to get you trapped. That's going to get you in a situation that Alabama got themselves into against Vandy, or several other teams normally find themselves in. You're going to have to stay motivated, stay locked in, stay hemmed in. Understand, like I said, you win this game, you're undefeated in the toughest conference in college football. You flip this season full 180. You start 0-1 against USC. Everybody is ringing the alarm bells. Everybody's thinking the season is over. Pack it in. Now, you get an SEC win on the road, the narrative is completely changed, and LSU turns into a player in the SEC. That's all I got to say. Got a couple more notes for you here. LSU and Arkansas series record. LSU leads 44-23. They've won 7 of the last 8. It's been some close games, though. The last 4 meetings were decided by 3 points each, and that's going to be the reason why the spread is where it is. Couple more interesting facts. LSU is 7-3 under Brian Kelly in 1-score games. So if the spread's going to be that, and if the history is going to say it's a close, back and forth, heavyweight battle, I'm going to lean on my guy BK, the winningest coach right now in college football. A lot of people got a lot of things to say about him, but guess what? Trust the process, and I think that we're going to be able to get this one done in Fayetteville. It's only time will tell, though. We've got a day left. 6 o'clock kickoff. I think LSU wins. I think they cover the spread. I think they cover the spread easy, quite frankly. If I had to drop a score prediction, I'd give you 31-17. I think that the defense can make quick work of them. I think that they have to come out strong. Arkansas's top 8 in total yards, sure, but I think most of them come from the ground. So if you stop that run, you're going to be in a good spot. Your safe bets, if you're a betting kind of person, LSU money line at -135, LSU -3 at -115. I think they cover the spread. I think they come in. I think they flex some muscle, and they actually become a player in the SEC. Real quick, before we move into this top 3 games segment, before we pack it in for the weekend, our guys Happy Dad, we're repping the merch. If you want to get some, we got a link in the description. We got a code, Verdin15, gets you 15% off. It's the best taste of hard seltzer on the market. Gluten-free, low in sugar, no artificial flavors. You know the drill. Get it at Rouse's, get it at Walmart, get it at Albertsons. Appreciate them for supporting us through this college football journey. We've been juking and jiving, trying to pick the games, trying to go perfect, trying to get you to right. I'm not going to say parlay, because I don't know if I would parlay these 3 picks that we got this week. It's some close games. We'll start off with Texas and Georgia. Number 1 versus number 5 at Texas. 6:30 p.m. They're going to be playing at the same time as LSU, and I'm going to be multi-viewing this. I got to watch both games. It's going to be a pretty big, shaper for this conference. The SEC, the future, at least for the playoffs and their conference championships, they're going to get made and then molded a good bit this weekend. starting with the number one team, Texas. I feel like them being the last undefeated team in the SEC. By the way, Georgia's first time being an underdog since 2021. You have to note that. It's been an era of dominance for Kirby Smart and the Dogs, rightfully so. LSU caught a little bit of that buzzsaw in the SEC championship, and I think if there's any team that can slowly start to curb it, slowly start to expose it, it could be Sarkisian, these Longhorns. The defense is phenomenal. Their defense has been locks. I think Georgia's kind of been up and down, up and down. Beck and Ayers both got strong arms. Here's the deal. Texas's offense, they're number 7. Their defense is number 1 in terms of points per game, scored and allowed, that is. You got the home field advantage. You got almost everything playing into your advantage, right? Yeah, I think you're on fire. You got the momentum. This is your welcome to the SEC moment. You get Georgia, quite frankly, the powerhouse for the last few years. The team who's been slated to win the conference for the last few years coming into your stadium, your environment. Can you control it? Can you turn in to the top dog, so to speak, in the Southeastern Conference? I think Texas gets it done. I got UT. I got to take them. The spread's at 5. I think that's a little rich for my liking. Let's just go minus 198 on Texas. The public's riding it. Could be good. Could be bad. Sometimes the public makes some things interesting. Number 7, Alabama takes on number 11, Tennessee at 2:30 tomorrow, right before LSU's game. They're going to be Bama's going to be minus 3-point favorites. Money line's pretty close, minus 148, plus 124. Totals at 57. I think that's not a bad look. The problem, let me start off with this. The problem with that total and the problem with Tennessee in general is Nico is struggling. Their quarterback, he was supposed to have a big run. He was supposed to have a good push. I dug out some stats. He's not in the top 50 in passing yards. He's not in the top 50 in passing touchdowns, and he's not in the top 50 in passing completions. I don't think they're going to be able to get past this big test. Dylan Sampson's a big unit, right? That's where most of their production comes from. Number 2 in touchdowns. You can look toward him for a big play. I just think Jalen Milroe puts on that Superman suit. I think he goes out and he's like, all right, cool, I'm going to spin this Heisman bet around. Y'all saw us lay an egg to Vandy, but hey, guess what? That team that beat Georgia, we're still here. We're still able to figure things out. I think Bama gets things right on the road. Give me Bama money line, straight up. Last slate. Number 24, Michigan. Number 22, Illinois. 2:30 p.m. at Illinois. This is a weird game. Michigan's offense is lacking. On paper, Illinois really isn't that bad. 31 points per game to 23 points per game. They're outscoring them in terms of the average. Total yards, they got 382. Michigan's got 306. Illinois beat Nebraska, but they only scored 7 to Penn State, right? I think either team really has a shot. I can't tell you to bet Michigan. I can't tell you to take the favorite team in the Wolverines on the road. I just don't got the confidence. If our guy G was here, I know he'd be saying otherwise. G, I can't do it to you. I can't fade your guys. So I'm going to take the total. I'm going to go under. I'm going to go under 45. I think Michigan's defense, it could kind of stand tall. Illinois played a tough team. They got held to a touchdown. So now I'm thinking they're really not going to be able to put some points on the board. Michigan's offense, like I said, been lacking. So if they win, I could see it being a dud of an offensive performance. I'm going to take the under on that total. That's my 3 games of the week. We've had an interesting little run. I mean, we have our moments, and that's like anything in college football. You get your ups, you got your downs. LSU's in a good little spot, though. I think that if you win this game against Arkansas, you build up just about the most momentum you've had since you went to the SEC title, quite frankly. I mean, last year you had your chances, you had your moments, but, I mean, you saw the writing on the wall when you lose to Ole Miss. When you almost give it away to Mizzou, when Miss State has you on the ropes. I mean, there was a lot of moments where LSU just really, you saw right through it. You saw right through it. You didn't buy it. You didn't buy the stock. It crashed, of course. Now, I think you're in a situation where they could be really underrated. Quite frankly, I think if you beat Arkansas, you beat A&M on the road, and A&M's going to be ranked. Like I said, could be a top 10 matchup. If they clear house and beat Miss State and we beat Arkansas, you got 2 of the 3 undefeated conference play teams right now. Only one SEC team has an overall undefeated record. 3 SEC teams have a conference play undefeated record. Texas A&M, Texas, and LSU. I think that you could really be in a good spot in terms of momentum if you win both of those games. Obviously, Alabama's a beast in and of itself. They're going to be highly ranked. They're going to have a lot of, confidence and a lot of people leaning toward them. So that'll be probably a spot you're an underdog in. probably a spot where you potentially get an upset. You might even see fans storm the field again. Could be pretty interesting. A lot of people were wondering if fans should have stormed the field for Ole Miss. I think if LSU beats Alabama and you enter maybe the top 5 teams in the country and you enter that argument where, like, hey, you're pretty much punching your ticket to a college football playoff, you better damn believe there's going to be people on the field. You're not going to be able to keep them off. They might rush the field every single game. LSU could really turn over a new leaf if they just keep stacking days, keep getting momentum. It all starts Saturday, though. LSU versus Arkansas. We'll be going live right after the game. I'm going to try to get G to phone in. It'll be a late one. 6 o'clock kickoff. Game's probably over at 9:30. But we're going to be covering it. Post-game coverage. Got some news. Texas A&M, we're on the road. We're going to cover the game live. We'll be there from Kyle Field. Everybody's saying EA Sports, CFB, oh, loudest environment, #1. We're going to see for ourselves, straight up. Y'all said it's the toughest environment. I know about a thing or two with tough environments. I'm not going to lie to you. And we'll be testing it out against Texas A&M. I think it's all brewing for a big SEC matchup. I think we both get a dub. I think we both stay high in the rankings. And you could have a college game day matchup. You could have a matchup where everybody in the country is tuning in to A&M and LSU. And LSU's back in the SEC conversation. Hell, they're back in the college football playoff conversation. You could say I'm reaching. You could say I'm crazy. Let's see how it pans out. Hope you'll have a good weekend. Thanks for tuning in. Please hit the like button on the way out. It's the best way to support. I love the subscriptions. You can subscribe. I ain't telling you not to. Best way, hit that like button. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one.